welcome. Thank you
Thank you.
for accepting this interview.
Thank you.
Yeah, I wanted to, if you just wouldn't mind saying, or how do you want to be called? EO, or do you want to go by anything
EO.
else? Yeah.
My name is Bradley. I'm not ever going to try to hide that or anything.
All right.
So I had this idea in my head. Basically, whenever I'd walk around, I'd always listen to music, and I always fantasized about playing music in front of a crowd. And it's funny, the crowd in my head was like my high school graduation crowd, so just like a bunch of like unsuspecting parents. I don't know. It's just funny, which is kind of like a kind of cool thing. It's like people that don't expect to be blown away get blown away.
Yeah.
But in my head, the first song that really triggered the ball is actually the one I just posted, which is The Thrill, which is a Porter Robinson remix. And the reason why is because the kick drum sounds like it's something that should like be activated by like a big thing. When I watched Porter Robinson's World's Tour, I went in September of 2014. He actually brought out like a little MIDI drum kit that he would play like on the with drumsticks, like on the song Divinity, I think. And I thought that was really cool because every time he hit it, there would be like big lights and stuff, and it looked really big. He was hunched down because it's like this little keyboard right here. It's like it's on the ground, and the audience is like out here, and he's like looking down the ground. So while it was epic, I feel like the kind of stage presence that a guitar player has or a singer, where they're standing upright. So the big point of this is to have me doing something where I'm standing upright, and I wanted it to be like, I wanted to emphasize the drums because those are the things that like stand out when you hit it. They don't stand out when you're not hitting it, but when you are hitting it, everybody notices.
Yeah.
And the way it is with music, like with acoustic drums, like with kicks and stuff, like they're not very powerful, at least most of the time. Not in the way I like, and I wanted to have more creative freedom, so I wanted to build a MIDI drum kit. And so what I did was I bought it was a Pile Pro, and basically I took apart the drum kit. Yeah, so I basically had to learn how to build a MIDI drum kit based on other drum kit. So there was a point where I made music and no one cared, right? And this was like literally a week ago. But when it comes to like my advice on like musicians, basically I released an album that I put a lot of time in. It was actually only 6 tracks, and it was called The Consumption and Detachment. And I spent a really long time making it, like probably like 10 months, and I was really proud of it, and I thought everybody was going to like it, and I thought it would be the thing that got me big. And when I uploaded it, it got like 10 views, 12 views. No one cared, and I think I actually lost subscribers because when you don't like post content and then you do after a while, people are like, "Who is this?" I don't care, and they unsubscribe. So last year's October, I felt really crappy, but from April on, I had the idea of this ball that I would think about like playing my music to, but I never even like floated around the idea of actually building it. And then I thought to myself, it's like, well, wait, why can't I build it? I mean, it doesn't seem that hard. And the thing that like really like took a while was figuring out what I was actually going to do, because I wanted to build something that was so unique that like was for my music, because this thing is for me. Like I'm playing I played like Death Grips and Porter Robinson because I wanted to like kind of spread a little bit, like get more popular. But the goal of this is to play my music. So here we are in October, and I'm thinking, okay, so let me consider building this. I went to a makers club because I had no idea how to build anything, and I went to a makers club. I get there, and it's all these like hobbyist adults, right? And they're all like in their 40s, and they all have kids, and they all like build arcade cabinets and stuff. And I show up there, and they all look at me like who is this guy? And I basically I have these like drawings of what I want to build, and they're so excited that I'm passionate about building something, but I'm like scared. It's like, what am I getting myself into? When they tell me that maybe I should use a weather balloon, and until then, I was thinking of using I was really dumb. I was thinking about using like magnets to like have like water like float. Like I had no idea what. But then when I bought yoga balls, and dude,
Wow.
And yoga balls. The thing about yoga balls that I don't like is that they're so firm that when you push a piece of a yoga ball in, it doesn't it's not smooth. Like with this, like when you push it in, you can kind of see it like doing that.
Yeah.
Smooth. With the yoga ball, it like triangulates, and it looks bad. So I'm not going to use a yoga ball. Anyway, so they gave me the idea of a weather balloon, and I don't even really start to build it until around March or April. So I just have the idea floating around, and I'm writing like all this depressing music. Like if you listen to my album, I Suffer Privately, it's like super sad. Like around the beginning of it, up until the very end is when it like actually like explodes into this like thing. Because April of this most recent April was when it started to work, and that's when I started getting excited about it. And it wasn't until even like 2 months after that that I started showing people. So basically, you have microphone stands, and then like this ring, I'm using a trampoline ring, like a trampoline. I forget, like a portable like jumpaline, like for little kids essentially, and it actually folds up, so like that's good for traveling. This ring is actually a hula hoop I bought at Walmart, and these are held by like little string right here. So this actually kind of holds it down, like so it doesn't fall through. Now there's something down here that like is the computer that translates it. This is the computer that actually came with the first drum kit that I bought. And it was designed for that drum kit, but it works with piezos in general. So once I started just making my own piezos, that came with the drum kit. So I don't know how much that costs on its own, but I bought a new one from I forget what it's called, but I bought a new one that does that, and that was like $120. So each of these stands are like $30. That's $120. This trampoline was like $30. This hula hoop was like $15. The weather balloon is $30, and I bought like tons of weather balloons. And then, of course, all the contact mics and all the cardboard. And then I use, so these pads right now are cardboard. Yeah. But I was just on Amazon today thinking about switching it out with metal because they don't last very long. The research and development, I guess as I would call it, was really expensive though because I experimented with different types of balls, different, stands, different. I bought like axe cutters and like just tools and various things. But yeah, so it's fun to build. It's not super hard to build, but I will say to anyone that wants to make one, this isn't the hard part. The hard part is actually programming the music for it. So that takes days and days and days. Like this took 2 days to build. Every time I make a song for it, that takes like days and days and days because you have to. I use Ableton, and I basically make drum racks. And inside those drum racks, I have other drum racks. And in those drum racks, I have I have randomizers, and I have step sequencer kind of stuff to like basically dictate how and when the sounds change. So for example, in the Thrill, there's a sound that goes and that thing might accidentally trigger when I don't want it to. So I use automation so that it only has like a certain window that it can trigger. And so there's like it's like a lot of work to actually make the songs work. So let's say a company wanted to like patent it and then release music for it. They would have to also program songs, and that would be like a huge thing. Like be almost like Guitar Hero. Like they release the guitar, and then they also release the songs that work with the guitar. They don't expect the people that buy the game to program the songs with the guitar. So I have to do that with all my music. And it's not like it's like an easy process. It's actually like I have to do a lot of like, I don't want to say like cheating, but I have to do a lot of really creative, inventive stuff to like get around certain things. The ball has changed with my music a little bit, but I'm actually actively trying to prevent it from affecting my music too much, because the point of the ball is to do its job for my music, not music to cater to the ball. The biggest problem with this thing, the hardest thing about it, so in my music, I sidechain all the time. So like every song that has this has tons of sidechaining, and I can't render stems with the sidechaining of the song's original drums, because then if let's say I hit this, it was like a couple milliseconds off, you would hear the rendered track like duck in volume.
Okay, yeah.
When I'm not hitting this, so I have to render out stems with their own individual like compression sidechaining things on it, and that takes so long because there's so many little like elements where that changes, and I want to make like I don't want to make like knockoff versions of my own music, so I have to make it sound as authentic as possible. Right. And the way I do that is I don't have to redo all the sidechaining, but I have to render everything without the sidechaining, and then I have to reapply those compressors on those specific drums, and then I have to like it's just like that takes hours. That takes so long.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Dude, this has been great. Thank you so much for
thank you, dude. This was
doing
fun.
This interview.
This was fun for me. Yeah.